Ashley asked me if I'd write her a song, so I wrote her a song for her awesome show. Her show is cool and it's lots of fun, so get your popcorn.
Hi, welcome to the Awesome Ashley Show. Today I have Ashleymonicaquimby. She is Miss Wheelchair Maine 2011. Hi Monica, how are you today?
Good, good. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you so much for coming. I was really looking forward to doing this. Can you tell the audience how you got started with Miss Maine?
Oh yeah, definitely. I was actually, it was my winter break. I'm a professor at Southern Maine Community College. And it was the winter break where we have some time off between December and January. And I get bored easy.
Right.
So I went online, I was just like, okay, what kind of activities are there? Not just sporting activities, but other things. And I just came across the Miss Wheelchair America website. And I was like, oh my gosh, this would be something that would be really great. At first, I was like, okay, pageants,
right.
Not sure.
Right.
But it's actually more about celebrating your achievements and advocacy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's really a good message to not only bring the state, but also at a national level.
That's awesome. Do you know where it first got started and stuff? Like how they first started Miss Maine?
Actually, the Miss Wheelchair America is the pilot program. They've been around for 40 years, and it was started by...
Wow.
Yeah, it was started by a doctor.
See, I had no idea that they did Miss Maine. They did, Miss Wheelchair Maine.
Yeah.
For girls in wheelchairs, and I think that's awesome because when I first looked you up, I was like, wow, that's awesome that she's doing all this stuff. And do you go to Pine Tree Camp and do speeches and stuff? And
yeah, I do a lot of work with the community because that's what it's all about. It's trying to get the word out there. The big thing that I'm passionate about is inclusion for people with disabilities.
Right.
So not to be classified by what we have, like I have a spinal cord injury, or muscular dystrophy, or cerebral palsy.
Yep, that's what I have.
Yeah, exactly. So, and instead of having those as classifiers, unify us as all, because we all have things in common by being disabled, and also inclusion with the entire community.
That's awesome,
yeah.
And I'm just awesome that I finally got to meet you because we were chatting online, and I was like, you emailed me last night and you're like, I already picked out my outfit. I'm like, I haven't yet. That's unusual for me because usually I'm the first one that picks out my outfit.
Right.
But I thought that was really cool.
It still makes us girls. That's the thing, It's like it, and that's the instant connection that we already made. So that's just proving my point of, even though you have a disability, you have so much in common with other people.
Right.
So.
How do you feel when you do speeches? Do you feel like proud? Do you feel like girls are listening to you and stuff? Because right now I feel like inspired.
Aww, well that's so sweet. I actually just speak from the heart. That's how I approach. I just recently was at the Miss Wheelchair America competition, August 1st to the 7th, and it was insanely exciting. It was so much fun, but the way that I approached my platform speech was to basically speak from the heart.
Right. Because
it's more, it's believable because it's how you feel.
Right.
I'm not a big scripted person. I'll have maybe a few points like on a note card.
Right.
But other than that, just smile and be yourself.
Right. That's when I first started my job, I used to have scripts to know what to say, but now I'm like I just
a pro.
Yep. How does it feel for you to be Miss Maine? How did you get picked?
There was actually a pageant. It was back in March 12th, and it was me and 2 other girls, and they had basically different interviews and questions they would ask you, and it was fun and interactive at the same time. So.
Did you get to take pictures and stuff?
Oh yeah, that was the best part. I got to get my pictures taken professionally, which was really fun. And Tess Johnson did my pictures, and she did an amazing job.
That's awesome. Yeah. And do you do other activities like swimming and handicap skiing? Are you involved in handicap skiing?
I'm not quite yet involved with MHS or handicap skiing because that's actually how I got paralyzed.
Right.
So 5 years ago, I got paralyzed in a skiing accident. I was doing my 30th backflip, and I missed the landing, and therefore got a spinal cord injury. But I do adaptive water skiing. I love water sports.
Right.
So
I haven't tried that one yet.
Oh, you should. You should. Fishing, deep sea fishing is another one of my big passions.
Do you do basketball?
No, I haven't tried that one yet.
I haven't tried it either.
I've done tennis before. I was actually on the wheelchair tennis team for the University of Arizona.
Oh, really? I didn't even know they have a tennis team.
They do. They actually offer, I think it's 8 to 10 varsity sports for wheelchairs. And, you know, as soon as I found out about that, I was like, I love this school.
That's awesome.
You know, so
yeah, see, I'm learning a lot from you today, because I didn't
right?
even know they had, like, all I know is they have, like, you know, basketball for people in wheelchairs, but my therapist said it was too rough for me because they really tip you over and all that stuff. So I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But I used to do Special Olympics in high school, and that's the only thing I miss about high school is you go to Special Olympics and you win medals and, you know, have a great time. And that's actually where I met my best friend Nick, who just passed away, who I did the walk for. So, yep. Did you do Special Olympics when you were in school?
I got my spinal cord injury when I was 19, so I was in college, and for me it was a huge shock because I was this normal 19-year-old that was just, you know, doing my thing. I was actually, you know, I was a bit depressed. I wasn't sure of my direction, didn't know who I wanted to be. Then after my spinal cord injury, I really found out like who I am and what I want to do in life. So definitely my biggest passion is higher education for people with disabilities, because I think that that's the gateway to go to a great career and also gain independence and self-esteem.
So that must have been like really weird for you when you found out, you know, you had a spinal cord injury, and like, because you were able to walk and then all of a sudden, boom, you know, in a wheelchair. So was that hard for you to like go from this to this? And because I've had it all my life, so I don't know the difference. So is it different? Because like that's one of the questions, you know, one of the questions I wanted to ask you. Is it different from?
That's a great question, because we've already, you know, I've been able to walk before, so of course it was a big shock. It was a huge shock. I was really, I definitely had a downtime at first. I wasn't sure, you know, I was like, my biggest fear, because I've always been a person that's very uplifting and, you know, always been able to set goals and achieve things. The number one thing that I wanted to make sure I could find again was love. And I wanted to make sure that somebody could love me, for who I am. And I do have that, so that's very exciting.
And I have it too. That's awesome.
Yeah, isn't that? It's like the best feeling in the world.
That's like the first thing like I thought of when I was a teenager. I'm like, you know, like, if there's someone that will be able to love me for me and be able to accept me for being in a wheelchair, and my boyfriend's awesome. He's like, you know, I don't see you in a wheelchair, and like that's like the happiest thing I've ever. Like for other girls, it's like, you know, but for me, that's just like the happiest thing ever. And
and Jared, my boyfriend, says that as well. He's like, I don't see the chair, I see the woman, and that's about it. And
and
honestly, that's the best part for me. But
guess what? That's the best part for me too.
Oh, good. But yeah, actually, when I was, because I got paralyzed the middle of my sophomore year, so it was a very odd time for me, because I've already done the whole, got the whole partying thing out of my system. And then, you know, after I came back, a lot of people were very supportive, but actually my best friend at the time decided to not be my friend anymore. I think that was one of the most devastating.
That's gotta be hard.
Oh, it was devastating, you know, and I was her roommate, and I thought things were great, but she ended up, you know, really getting jealous of the attention and, you know, the different focus there was. But so, you know, she definitely made it hard for me, because she also, you know, put her negative spin on it. But honestly, it was okay, because that's why I ended up going to the University of Arizona for the National Student Exchange Program. So if you have a certain GPA, if you have a 3.0 or higher, University of New Hampshire allows you to go to another school through the National Student Exchange. So I chose Arizona.
That's awesome.
Because it's beautiful, it's flat, and they offered not only wheelchair sports, but they also had an all-accessible and a gym that was for people that have disabilities. So that was cool too.
So do you find it hard sometimes, like when you go to restaurants, it's not handicap accessible? Because that's like the hardest, you know, thing for me is like I get like so like down, and like I'd be like, you know, they should have it more handicap accessible. Like my high school is like it wasn't even handicap accessible. And then,
Oh, yeah.
like, when I graduated, because I graduated in 2009, and then I found out they're building a whole new school, and, like, everything is going to be handicap accessible. I'm like, of course it has to be after I graduate. But do you find that hard, like, when you go places, or?
Yeah, definitely. And I'm actually going to be launching what's called the Breaking Barriers campaign. So what that's going to be doing is going to be assessing, schools, businesses, community areas on their level of accessibility. And we'll have, we're going to come up with a logo so we can, for the Breaking Barriers, so they can put it right in their window, just like to show how ADA accessible they are.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's really important to have to be accessible for everyone, because I feel like,
I think that's awesome.
Yeah, because disability is kind of the new discrimination, if you will.
Right.
It's something that's never really been addressed.
Right.
So that's what I'm going to be helping to address.
So you have a lot of things in common, because the reason why I do my show is so people can find out more things about handicap.
Yeah.
Things out there to help other people.
Yeah.
And I think it's awesome what you do. And
oh, thank you.
can you tell the viewers how you can get started to do pageants and stuff if they want to get involved?
Definitely.
Get involved in it?
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
that'd be awesome if you could explain how they can get involved in it if they want to get involved.
Sure. Well, I'm actually the executive director now of the Miss Wheelchair Maine organization. So if you can feel free to go to my website, it's www.mswheelchairmaine.org. And you can also find me on Facebook. Just look for Monica Quimby, Miss Wheelchair Maine 2011.
And I think you made a regular Facebook page too.
Yeah, but mostly for my fan page. But yeah. So definitely, find me, contact me. If anybody would like to be a contestant, a volunteer, or to be a sponsor, just please contact me and let me know.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm sure girls are excited to meet you and stuff when they find out that, you're not the only one in a wheelchair. Because I was, so excited. I'm like, oh, my God, I finally get to meet her and, so.
That's my big thing, is I want to create a positive network for people with disabilities so we can kind of, play off of each other and talk about things. But to do it I'm going to be doing, monthly events. So, for instance, we'll go bowling, or we'll go out to eat, or whatever, and we'll have a bunch of people with disabilities that can just
be themselves,
be normal, feel normal. And I think inclusion into society is a huge part of that. So that's why I love being a professor with all able-bodied professors, because I know I stick out like a sore thumb, oh, the professor in the wheelchair. But that's okay, because, I'm breaking that mold. I'm breaking, those barriers that people put up, those attitudinal and...
Oh, I know. I definitely know those. Those. I've had experience, trust me.
Yep.
But it's really cool when, I go into stores and, Walmart, and people say, I saw you on TV, and, because I've done this for, 4 years, and it's, the best job ever. I get to be on TV, but it's really cool how people say, I've seen you on TV, and I saw when you posted my little video I have on YouTube with my friend Justin. I saw one of your friends commented and said that, can I get this online? And I posted underneath, here's the link if you want to see my other shows and stuff, because they're all online. Eventually our show will be online, so if there's friends and family that don't live in Biddeford, they can also get it online, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, definitely.
But, that's awesome. And how long have you been in Pine Tree? Because I saw one of your pictures, when did you first start going to Pine Tree?
I actually just volunteered there this year. It's funny, the things that still, even though you live in the state of Maine, or the area that you live in, the things that you're still not aware of until I started doing this advocacy work, and I was like, oh my gosh, look at all these phenomenal resources that we have for people with disabilities. So I volunteered at the Pine Tree Camp twice this summer, and it was an amazing experience. I had to take a moment after I just looked at, everything was accessible, and I just had to take a moment, and I'm not gonna lie, I definitely cried because I was just overwhelmed. You don't see an accessible boat launch or an accessible, 7 accessible camps or an accessible treehouse.
And I was excited when I saw the treehouse, that picture that you have of the treehouse. I went there one year and they didn't have that treehouse, and and they were actually, when I went, they were starting to talk about building a treehouse.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't know if it was, you know, if they were just talking about it or when they were going to do it. But then I saw the picture. I'm like, oh, yeah, they really did it. And
yeah.
I think that's awesome. So
yeah, so I definitely am making partnerships with those kind of, that's my big thing, is I'm all about collaboration. So if anyone wants to contact the Miss Wheelchair Maine organization, I love to collaborate with other organizations in the state of Maine to be able to bring a bigger awareness to people with disabilities in a positive light. That's the biggest thing.
Right.
You know, I want to bring empowerment and, you know, celebrate people with disabilities.
Right. Is there any other programs that you know of that I probably don't know of that does with handicapped people and stuff for different programs out there? Because like I've just learned about like the tennis one that you just told me about. I had no idea they do the tennis one, so I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Well, my biggest affiliate is Alpha One. They're one of my closest sponsors where we kind of work together a lot. And also there's, you know, Maine Handicap Skiing, there's the Pine Tree Camp, Pine Tree Society. There is just a lot of resources out there and a lot of new connections that I'm making as well. So, and UCP is a big one as well.
Was it hard for you to learn how to drive? Because that's like my biggest thing right now, because my boyfriend has his, I don't drive yet. So I'm like, I'm like all excited to like learn how to drive.
Yeah.
So how does that work? Like, cause like I can get in a car all by myself, like, you know, as long as like I'm close to the door. But like I can't figure out how to put the I wouldn't be able to figure out how to put the wheelchair in. Like, do you put it in the back or do you put it in the trunk?
That's a great question.
Because that's like one of my biggest questions. Yeah. Like I always wanted to ask someone that. So how do you do that? Do you like put it in like back seat or something, or? Yeah,
so that's actually a question that I get every time I do a speaking engagement. That's not just, you know, that's a great question. So how I do it is I actually, when I'm getting into the car, I break down my wheelchair completely. So I first transfer into the car. I have hand controls because I have no use of my legs, paralyzed from the waist down. And so the hand controls, when you pull down is the gas and forward is the brake. And just learning that part was interesting in the beginning, because I went from, you know, using, you know, your feet to using your hands. So that got a little adjustment there, psychology-wise. But yeah, the way that I do it is I take the seat cushion off, the backpack off, throw those behind me in the back seat, pop both of the wheels off, put them behind the passenger seat, and then fold the backrest down, pull the whole thing across me, and put it in the passenger seat.
Wow.
Yeah, and I do that every day. Yeah, and the whole thing, I can do it in probably like 30 seconds now. So I mean, if anyone wants to hire me to be a pit crew,
you're probably used to it.
Yeah. So
I'll probably call you up when I'm like ready to learn how to do that, because like that's my biggest fear is like, how do I get?
Yeah, and a good resource would be Ride Away. They're huge
because I heard Alpha One also trains you how to.
Yes, that's how I got trained by Alpha One, and that's how I initially got involved with them. So, and that program is phenomenal.
Yeah, my boyfriend teases me. He's like, you won't be able to drive because you laugh so much, and like if you see someone like going by, you'll be like looking at them and you'll be laughing and you'll go right off the ditch. I'm like, thanks.
Oh no, you'll be good. You'll be good.
But yeah, he's got his permit right now, so I'm like kind of jealous that he's got his permit, and I'm like, when am I gonna get mine? But you know, it's probably gonna take me a while to. How long did it actually take you to learn how to drive with all? Because I think all the brakes are on the handle, and so how does that work? Do you just like use your hands or something?
Yeah. So you just it's a hand control. So you just pull down for the gas and forward for the brake, and then there's a suicide knob, which is the fun part.
A suicide knob?
Yeah, that's what they call it. They actually have them in race cars as well. It's like a little knob that's hooked onto the steering wheel, so you can use the gas and brake with one hand and turn the wheel with the other.
That's awesome.
So yeah, that's the fun part. And and I actually just have a 2-door Honda Accord. You wouldn't even know that I was in a wheelchair. You know, I don't have a van or anything like that. And that's more to whatever your needs are.
Because some people have like a van, and like, because some people tell me that I have to get a van in order to drive, because like I have to put my wheelchair, like, buckle my wheelchair down and then get in the seat. So I don't know. Like, some people tell me I have to get a van, and like, so I'm like, oh man, I really don't want a van. I want a regular car.
Yeah, it is possible. It's definitely, it's not the easiest way.
Right.
But to me, I had to get my licenses. You know, I already had my license previously, but you actually have to get a special adaptation on the back. So, but that was basically this is my legs, but my car is my independence. So it's how I get to work, it's how I get to the mall, how I go to see people, how I'm here today. You know.
So right now my mom is drives me everywhere. So I'm like just super excited because I'm really independent. Like I'm like really independent. Like half the time I don't even ask people to help me.
Right.
And so like getting a car will be my next biggest step for independence. So I'm like super excited to learn from you that it's actually easy and like, you know, so it's good for me to learn from different people that have experience with that, because I was like super nervous with that, but I'm all excited now.
Good.
How long have you been doing tennis?
I just basically did it out when I was out in Arizona. I'm one of those people that I need to try everything.
Right.
So what I'm going to be doing upcoming, I'm going to be doing powerlifting because with the main games, because they've never had somebody that's a woman that's disabled do their powerlifting. They have guys that have set records, but they've never had a girl. So
wow.
I figured, I was like, all right, I'll take on that challenge.
That's awesome.
And I'm going to try sled hockey this year too.
Sled hockey.
Yeah.
Do they have you tried surfing? Or
I haven't yet. No.
I don't even know if they, because I thought I saw you like sitting on a surfboard, but maybe I was wrong.
It might have been a water ski. It probably
water ski that looks like a surfer.
They kind of look the same, yeah.
Like, how does that work? Do they like belt your feet down, or?
You just kind of sit in like a bucket, pretty much, and then what they do is I actually do dock starts, so you're just like right on the dock, and then you just hold your arms down below your knees, and you say hit it, and you just go. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, and I kind of freaked my mom out because I did my first two or 3 weeks ago. I did my first 360 and water skied backwards. So
that must have really
sorry, Mom.
out.
But I really enjoy it too. You know, just set goals for myself and keep pushing myself to achieve them, and that's what I want to instill in other people as well.
Right. I saw that you were in the newspaper. I think it was the Journal-Tribune, or the Portland Press, or something.
Yep, Portland Press Herald. Yep.
And was that your mom hugging you?
Yes, I actually won the 40 Under 40 award, which is a big deal. It was put on by Maine Today Media, and it was a fantastic event. I got to meet 39 other very successful people in the state of Maine. That basically the criteria is that you had to be excellence in leadership, in community involvement, and in your career. So being able to be a part of that, and being somebody that's disabled, and to be included in that professional realm was really, really astonishing for me, and rewarding, and that was the best award that I've received in a long time. So
yeah, I saw that. I'm like, wow, that's cool. Like,
yeah.
Like how do you get around your house? Is it like handicap accessible, or?
Yeah, I just live in a little 2-bedroom apartment, and yeah, it's completely accessible. So it's on the first floor, and there's not even a ramp. It's all on one level.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I even have the front-loading washer and dryers, and able to. My bathroom, you basically play baseball in.
Right.
It's huge. But yeah, it's definitely accessible, and there's some things that aren't, but you make them work.
Right.
You have to adapt, and that's kind of one of the things you learn, as well as you would know as well when you have a disability, is you have to
you have to adapt to what they have.
Yeah.
Sometimes they won't be able to fix it the way that you want, the way that it will work for you. So sometimes you have to adapt to those certain things.
Yeah.
So I definitely know that situation.
Right, but we'll definitely, I think that, within the next 10 to 20 years, that, the community, the world really will be a lot more accessible, because the more people that are pioneers like you and I that are able to get out there and be like, have our rights being heard,
Right.
it's going to be really important and influential.
Because at my school, actually, because I told you that I like Special Olympics, and I thought it was, because you know how they have like a yearbook and they put like all the other sports and like football and like all these other sports, and I actually spoke up and said, you know, it's not fair to the people that are, you know, just handicapped and not, because they didn't put us in the yearbook. So I was like, you know, I spoke up and I said, you know, we work as hard as anybody else, and I think we have a right to be in the yearbook. And then after I left, I found out that they actually put them in the yearbook. So I was actually kind of glad that you know, I got the word out there for other people.
That's the big thing. You know, we're making waves. We're making change. Not only I think that's a very selfless thing too, because you're making change for the future. You're making change for, you know, the next person that would want that same thing. So that's a huge thing.
And you wanted to come to the walk, to do next walk. We almost, like, I think we raised like almost over $4,000, almost.
Wow, that's
but
awesome.
not quite that much. But
oh, that's fantastic.
we're hoping to do it next year.
Good.
So. And we had the T-shirts made with his face on it, and
right.
Because it was my first year, so I was like kind of nervous. I'm like, because I really wanted to do something to you know, help out the Barber Bush, because they did a lot for me and Nick, because that's where he spent most of his time, and that's where I spent most of my time when I was a little girl. And right now I'm doing good. You know, my hips are in place, and I don't need surgery, because when I have surgery, like it like doesn't let me be independent, so I have to learn that all over again.
Right.
So. But I, you know, do a pretty good job, and I was ecstatic how many people showed up at the walk. There was like 60 people this year. So next year I'm hoping it's like bigger, and there are a lot more people. So next year I'll know what I'm know what to do, because this year was my first year. So I'm like, where do I go from here? And But Elliot Pitts, she was the lady that was helping me. She was the network manager, and she did great. She's like, you'll do fine, and she set me in the right direction. And
that's excellent.
They let me use Eastern Trails, which is a really handicapped, you know, you can put your wheelchair right in. It's like hard gravel, but your wheelchair is able to go through it.
Oh, that's
so
great.
I was all excited. I was like, yeah, you found a place. And but I'm hoping next year, there'll be a lot more people.
Yeah, and with Miss Wheelchair Maine, we do a lot of fundraisers as well. So, yeah, we definitely would like to be a part of that as well if you would like us to be.
I would love you guys to be.
Because like I said, I do a lot of collaborations and like to really get a feel for the community, not, you know, disabled and non-disabled.
Right.
So, yeah, definitely let us know.
I would really love you to be a part of that, because, you know, it was awesome, and I was glad so many people were there that cared about me and Nick, and Nick's family and friends, and my family and friends. It was just a blast. Like, all my hard work paid off, and I was like glad. And I like Twilight, you know, Jacob from Twilight.
Yeah.
So like, my mom and my family got me like a Jacob cutout thing. So right before the walk started, like, cause the walk started, and then right there went post, like, cause there's a big post, and then they stood them up right there. I'm like, what is everybody staring at? Because I said, you know, let's go have fun. And I was like, everybody stopped walking. And, like, there was a big Jacob, you know, cardboard cutout thing. And I was like,
that's awesome.
Oh, my God, that's so cool. So I was just ecstatic.
Good.
So
that's cool.
Is there anything else you want people to know about the pageants and about any?
Oh, yeah, definitely. So Miss Wheelchair Maine organization is not just about pageants. That's kind of, because
that's what I thought it was, like, That's what I thought it was just about pageants.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, we're actually going to be doing a bunch of events. So we're going to be doing the Miss Wheelchair Maine 2012, January 20th and 22nd, 20th and 21st, excuse me. And so that it's all about advocacy, celebrating achievements. We're going to have some keynote speakers. My friend Bill Picard, he has cerebral palsy, and he's going to be doing some comedy. And
oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so he does, I call it stand-up, sit-down comedy.
That's cool.
And he's wonderful. And I have a couple of other speakers that will be coming as well to be part of that event. So it's really more of an empowering event than anything. And we're also going to be doing the in May, we're going to be doing the expanding the Powering Education Scholarship, which Miss Wheelchair Maine does with Alpha One. And that's going to be right at Southern Maine Community College.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it's going to be, right now there are $2,000 scholarships that are offered to people with disabilities to apply and that can be put towards both an undergraduate or a graduate program. So we really want to instill the powers of higher education into today's Maine disabled person.
That's awesome. See, because when I first looked at your page, I just thought it was about pageants and stuff. I didn't realize that all this was involved, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah, we're going to be expanding. We're also going to be doing career resources, basically how to do an interview when you're disabled. You know,
right.
what kind of information do you give? What do you not give? What are your rights? You know, to definitely bring the legal aspect in there too. We're going to be doing sports awards for people that are part of the Special Olympics, part of the Paralympics. So yeah, I have a lot of plans.
That's awesome.
I'm very excited. So yeah, it's going to be a great thing, and that's the biggest thing is not only do I want to send a positive message for people with disabilities, but to also celebrate the achievements, the things that we can do,
right.
instead of always talking about what we can't do.
The things we can't do.
Exactly. Yeah. So.
Well, thank you for being on the show.
Yeah,
I enjoyed having you. Hopefully you can come on again after next, 2012 to find out who got Miss Maine.
That'd be great.
Thank you so much. I appreciate having you. I loved meeting you. You're awesome, and I hope we can connect, you know.
Definitely.
And be friends for a long time.
That's right.
But thank you guys for joining in, and Monica is awesome, and I think she does a great thing for people with disabilities. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.
So I wrote her a song for her awesome show. Her show is cool and it's lots of fun, so get your popcorn ready, everyone. Who will she interview on her show today? The Jonas Brothers or Nick Lachey? It's the awesome Ashley Show. The awesome Ashley Show. The awesome Ashley Show. La 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 la. Ashley asked me if I'd write her a song, so I wrote her a song for her awesome